So to go over the basics of repetitions, I want to just make a kind of a quick video showing you basically the three type of repetitions in Java. So I'm going to make a new Java class. We'll call this class repetitions, and put a main method in there. I don't know why Dr. Java does this. It's bad coding, but you really don't want to put your code here. You actually want to put it in here. So I'm going to leave everything in the main function. We'll talk about making different methods when we go into the methods unit, but just for right now, just you can put everything in the main method. So in this case, what I'm going to do is there's basically four types of loops. There's the precondition, also called the while loop, postcondition, also called the do loop, and the iterative loop, or repetitive loop, also called the for loop. Now, generally, you don't hear these kind of academic precondition, postcondition, iterative. Generally, you see them called across the board while, do, and for. So the while loop is called a precondition loop, and basically it checks the condition before you go in this. So I'm going to make a counter, an integer called counter equals 0, and then I'm going to go in this while loop and loop through. You're going to loop through it until the statement after this while keyword is false. So I'll say while counter is less than 0, or less than, we'll do 25, and then put everything that's going to be in the while loop, surround them with these braces. And what I also like to do is I'll just copy and paste the statement, because sometimes you get kind of big loops, and at least you know where it ends, where it started and what a condition was. So I'm going to say system.out.println, and I'm just going to put the counter in here, and then I'm going to iterate the counter. So I'm going to do counter plus equals 5. And basically what this does is we'll add 5 to whatever number's in there. So the first time I'll go through, put 0, and so it's also equivalent to doing counter equals counter plus 5. So basically it just kind of adds this value into whatever's in here and then saves it. So I'm going to save this. We'll call this repetitions.java, and then I'm going to run it. Oops, I need to compile this first. And then run it. And then notice how it does 0 to 5. So I'm going to put a little statement here so to make it more clear what it is. So I'm going to do println while loop. And so again, the precondition loop or while loop, it always checks to see the first line that actually works. The second one's called the do loop. It's always going to at least run once. So I'll do the same condition. A counter is less than 25. And then I'll do system.out println do loop, and then system.out.println, and then I'll do counter this again this time. And one thing I also forgot to do is I need to make sure to assign counter to 0 again, otherwise it'll start at 25. And then I'll do counter 25 in this case. And then you notice how the counter is never less than 25, but it'll at least go through once. And so now I run it. So compile, and then run. So notice how at least went through once, even though this condition is never true. But it always run through once. So usually precondition loops or postcondition loops are used for like menus, or something that at least you want to at least have go through once. And then the last one is a for loop. And so a for loop, you do all the initialization of the variables, the counter, and the condition all in one line. And so it's very similar to a while loop in many instances. I'll call this C equals, and then I'll do C is less than 10, and then my condition, that's my condition, so as long as C is less than 10, and then notice how right here, every time it goes through here, the plus plus adds 1 to C. So it adds 1 to the variable every single time. So I'm going to do C plus plus, and then I'll do system dot out dot print line C. All documents, run, and then notice here the last one, it does them all. So you can see the outputs and the values for all these different types of loops. We've got a while loop, do loop, and a for loop, also called a precondition, postcondition, and a repetitive or iterative loop. And so I hope this helps you for the class, and I hope you have a good evening.